again, this morning's observations show that we haven't seen, again, much change over the last week and a half. There's still obviously activity down near the flow front, but nothing that is pushing the leading edge any further forward. What we do see is breakouts on the surface as well as on the margins of the flow further back. Clearly evidence that the supply is still making its way down through the tube system, but nothing that is, again, advancing the flow. Therefore, the furthest downslope edge of the flow, which is for the most part stalled, remains at that 0.36 miles from the highway area. As I mentioned, we continue to see breakouts on the pad as well as along the margins. Over the weekend and up until yesterday morning, we were able to access a particular breakout that's furthest upslope, about a mile and a half from the vent, that was advancing pretty well on the pad itself and had entered into an old flow and was approaching the forest area. Unfortunately, this morning, the weather didn't allow for us to get up in that particular area. But all of the activity that we're seeing is not posing any kind of threat to any communities at this time. Again, we have a number of breakouts occurring on the pad as well as on the margin, and nothing that's occurring downslope near the original flow front. As far as any brush fire threat, it has a light rain this morning up there. Whatever burning activity we were monitoring over the weekend was well within the burn area of the previous fires. Nothing that was on the edges or fringes of the fuels that was posing any kind of a risk for another runaway brush fire. But the conditions are being monitored very closely. Anytime we see hotspots or flare-ups, we share that information with fire as far as where the location is and where it might become problematic if we have a change in wind direction, as well as any kind of change in weather or increase in fire activity. The smoke was, again, consistent with what we've seen over the last week, and that because we have a little bit of a south wind element, we are having a combination of both the fog and the smoke from whatever's burning along the fringes of the flow being dispersed over the lower Puna area. That's all the way from the Ainaloa down through HPP and Keao and into Hilo. So with that south wind element, we're having both the fog and the smoke from associated with any activity along the fringes of the flow being pushed in that particular direction. And again, we're just monitoring at this point and observing and just maintaining that situational awareness of what's happening on the flow, and at this point, no advancement.